Welcome to Rock Valley, Iowa, and the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Series. In the light limited modified class, to get things started, this is Cody Meyer.
Hooper, Nebraska with a T52 Lycoming engine. Oh, what a beautiful shot. Overhead, right down the track, took off right of center, zigzagging at the end. You might think he's out of bounds, but no, he has crossed the white line. It's a good run. Goes 3:02 and 10, but I think he is going to turn it down is what I'm hearing right quick.
Well, pretty smooth, Dave, on the start, but boy, about half track, it really went crazy.
Oh, anytime you see air under the tires, you know good and well it's not going to be good, and he is going to turn that pull down as we're started in Thunder in the Valley.
In the heart of the Midwest, there's a band of modern-day marauders. Mounted atop their beasts, they line up to throw down. They are outlaws.
Welcome to Thunder in the Valley from Rock Valley, Iowa. I'm Claude Wood along with Dave Bennett and Rick Carlson. We'll be bringing you all the action today. And to kick it off, we'll start with the light limited modifieds, followed later by the Super Farm class. Good variety today, Dave.
Noise and smoke, you don't get no better than that. All right, second hook of the class now is going to be Captain Hook. This is Wyatt Anderson out of Greentop, Missouri. He's our defending points champion. Notice he's got two engines. There's a lot of, whoa, hang on. Hang on, bouncy, bouncy. A lot of different rules in this class, a lot of different configurations where you can run two motors that are naturally aspirated, one motor that's blown. A lot of different ways of going at it. But Claude, this had to be a rough ride for him.
It was. You can use a lot of creativity in the class, as you said, but look at this. He is really up in the air.
Well, the front end up in the air causes the tires to bounce and not a good deal. Let's go down to Rick Carlson.
Wyatt, that looked like it was a handful.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun right there.
It's like I've never seen the bottom of big block Chevrolets from down here that much.
Well, I felt it. I definitely felt it in the seat.
And that'll bring up Blake Ott out of Norfolk, Nebraska, father-son team. They have a fresh rebuilt Allison aircraft engine, around 2,000 horsepower.
Pretty close to that, 1,710 cubic inches to be exact. Father and son team, as you said, this is son. They got the tractor each. Oh, he went down pretty hard. That motor did not stay up in the air like it's supposed to. He's going to live with 248 and 97.
Well, that'll bring up Andrew Beckman. He calls his tractor the Big Bang Theory, and he hopes he doesn't have a bang on this one.
Well, you don't need no bangs for a fact. Once again, you see the twin engines, but totally different. You got twin turbocharged engine, not quite as loud, but the turbos are a good form of horsepower, just not quite as responsive as a blower. 278.68 takes the lead.
Let's go on board and see how he took the lead. This was a pretty good run right down the track.
Yeah, it was. Nice and smooth. You pick up on it the first time. You see him drifting a little bit to the left right there. I'm sure he tapped the brakes just a tick. I've driven one of these modifieds. They are a thrill.
And that'll bring up Bodiot. He is Blake's father. He drives Warhawk.
Same type of engine, Allison aircraft, fuel injected. You see the injection tubes on top. You have to build them yourself. Oh, beautiful pass. Nice and smooth. We're hugging that left side again. Still hugging that left side. I bet he had to hit the brake to go 290.92.
Bodie, all those cylinders did pretty well.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent hook. I was standing on my right brake the whole way about as hard as I could, so I'm not too sure the run will hold up, but I'm in the lead right now, so we'll see what happens.
And this tractor's called Lynch Mob, driven by John Geraholt. They're out of Assumption, Illinois.
Good-looking Allison engine. Man, that motor pulled down. He's still going down the track with all that bouncing. Don't worry about that piece of plastic that just blew off. That's a nothing. A great distance, but a bad pull. But how do you discredit a pull when you go 298.20 and go to the lead?
Well, it looked like he was pretty much hugging that left side, but whatever, that worked out okay for him.
I'm here to tell you just the fact that he had a lot more distance in that if he'd had a smoother pull.
Well, you take the lead with a nice, smooth, easy pass.
Well, I think I'll maybe go back and put some more air pressure in for tomorrow. That was one whale of a track. That's the lowest gear we got, and I stuck it off the line, and we hope for the best. So it got where it needed to go, but it wasn't pretty, was it?
No, not really, but that's okay. Results matter. And John Gerhold bounced his way into the lead. Coming up after the break, it'll be Cody Meyer, Retired Warfare. He will re-pull. Stay with us.
The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Series is being brought to you by VP Racing, Makin' Power. Extreme Performance and Tire Cutting, a cut above the rest. Z-Max, the one product for your engine, transmission, and fuel system. And by the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association, Thunder in the Dirt.
Welcome back to Thunder in the Valley from Rock Valley, Iowa, part of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Series. Well, Cody Meyer pulled earlier. He turned down that hook. He drives Retired Warfare. Let's see if he made the right decision.
T-52 Lycoming come out of a Huey helicopter. That's what you see on the fenders. Turned down a 302 and 10, which would have still been in first place. So, I don't think, no, not even close. 283.23. He is not going to be a happy camper about that.
Boy, that is well short. What really went wrong on this, Dave?
Well, as I'm taking a look right here, yeah, the front end bounced, the front end went up in the air. You just never got a hold of the track like you did before. I think the track went away on him, a lot different. Let's go down to Rick Carlson.
Cody, you turned down the first run. What did you do differently?
Well, I didn't do anything differently. I was hoping the track could go a little bit better. Didn't work out. Sometimes when you gamble, you don't always win. It's just the price we paid. Well, hopefully tomorrow we can bring it around and get on top again.
And our next puller is Scott Whitworth out of Unionville, Missouri. He took quite a ride last week. Had a lot of trouble controlling the tractor, so good luck today.
Yeah, he was on an unlimited super stock on our show last week. Now he sits on top of the light limited modified. And boy, is he walking the dog here. That motor was singing a song. The tires are burning and churning. Oh yeah, 301.29. We got a new leader right here. How do you take away from this pull, Claude?
Well, this was a good pull. At least the results were good. A little bit of back and forth, and you lose some distance with that, but man, he hung with it.
Yeah, the turbocharger's really doing a great job. Let's see what he thinks.
Scott, just another day at the office?
Yes, it was a very nice pass. Great track, and everything went pretty good.
If you had it to do over, would you change anything?
We probably raise the drawbar a little bit and get the front end a little higher.
And that'll bring up John Gerhold driving Top Gun. We saw him pull earlier on a different tractor.
Yeah, it is a very nice looking Allison aircraft engine tractor. It's a really sharp looking tractor. Got some good ground speed. Got some serious ground speed. When the flagman's going backwards, that's a good sign. You gotta love that. What's going on? He telling him something. The neck collar laying right behind his shoulders. His neck collar come off. That is a disqualification.
John, you got into the lead, but you act like things aren't all correct.
Well, I had my neck collar on when I started, and I don't know what happened, but when I got down there, it was about half off, so I don't know what happened.
And that'll bring up David Turkelson. He's out of Scribner, Nebraska. His tractor is called Jet Lag.
Don't need no jet lag in this class. You better not be lagging at all. Nice and smooth, no bounce. Maybe not as fast a ground speed as you'd like to have, but you can't complain because it's smooth. That was just a Sunday afternoon drive, but the Sunday afternoon drive goes 285 and 36.
Our last puller is Tyler Meyer. The distance to beat, 301 feet.
Nothing for a stepper, especially if you're on top of Blue Thunder. You better get some more RPM than that. Motor never really come to life. Motor just got a little lazy, didn't want to do it. He goes 2:39.06, gonna place him way back in the pack.
So, final results, Scott Whitworth proved today that the V8 automotive horsepower could indeed control the airplane engines. A big congratulations goes out once again to Scott Whitworth.
Well, we're going to go from the noise boys to the smoke boys. It's going to be a lot of smoke in the air with 9,500-pound Super Farm tractor. A lot of different brands, a lot of different color. When we come back, it's going to be power put to the ground.
Welcome back to Rock Valley, Iowa, where there's fireworks in the sky and on the track. Now we'll turn our attention to the Super Farm class. And our first contender is Chad Weizenkamp. He's out of Hooper, Nebraska. This is a brand new tractor for Chad.
Well, everybody knows Chad drives the tractor called Sunday. He just hadn't got around to putting the word Sunday on the new one. Brand new. First time or two out with this tractor, he wasn't satisfied with it, but man, this thing has come around down to the big end of the track. Great pull, 311 and 73. Now he's first puller, he's going to have the option. I think he ought to, and he does. He keeps this pull at 311 and 73.
And spotting the sled right in the center of the track, good a place as any is to get it started.
And he goes straight down the track. You look behind the sled, the tracks don't vary very much. A great run. Let's go down to Rick Carlson.
Chad, first in the session, but late in the day. Was the track what you were expecting?
Yes, it was. It's a pretty good track. You know, I got to give everybody a commencement around here. They do a good job.
Were you happy with your setup?
Yeah, I don't know what I could have done different, to be honest with you.
Here's another part of a father and son team. This is Alan Andrews. He's the dad, and he's driving Dakota Deer.
Well, the Dakota Deer tractor's been on top of the points championship in years past for a fact. One of the old-time standards. It's always up in the top. Shooting at that Sunday tractor. Boy, it didn't take long for Sunday to get knocked down as this guy goes 316 and 38, goes right to the lead right off the bat.
And this was about a picture-perfect textbook run. Up in the air a little bit there, but that didn't hurt anything.
Not really. By going that high in the air, it does lower your drawbar, but plants those rear tires to the ground. Let's see what Alan says.
I'm looking for the track to slowly get better, so I'm hoping to stay in the top 5.
Now, you say looser. Tell us what that means.
The bigger horsepower tractors will get in and tear the dirt up more, and our lower horsepower tractors will tend to pack it in and make a path. And the problem is, the more track to pack it in, the smoother they get, the better middle run they get. And then to get the other end, they can get past you.
And that'll bring up Dave Asmus out of Hoskins, Nebraska. He calls his tractor Let It Ride.
I love the picture on the side of this, the cards, the card game, Let It Ride. And he don't let much ride. He pushes it all the way. Look at his head posture right there. Looking where he wants to go on the track. Motor not giving up, tires digging in. Yeah, he goes 308.75. I guess he'll just have to let it ride.
And that'll bring up John Platty driving a gray area. He's one of those father-son teams that we have here today.
And for a fact, John on this one, normally driven by Dustin. His son Dustin not able to make the trip this week. His son Tommy will be up later. Oh, driving it for all the horsepower he can get out of the gray area. Goes 300.49. That tractor's a little bit better than that. Better let son back on the seat.
Well, here's the son of another puller today. This is Chad Andrews. His tractor is Bruley Buck.
Yeah, this boy's dad, Alan, drove earlier. In fact, he's leading the class right now. Bruley Buck. Bruley's the name of the creek that goes through their farm. Son trying to take dad down. Looks like he's going to get pretty close to him. And not quite. He goes 309 and 89.
Well, let's turn it red with the Case IH driven by Rick Engelmeyer. Now, the Engelmeyer family, very strong Outlaw supporters.
Every time we get up in this area, you can bet on the Ultimate Muscle charging for that #1 spot. Motor doing its job. You got to love it when a motor does not run out of horsepower. Burns it in at 308 and 57.
And Dave, as we go to the replay, I really watched this run closely. It looks perfect, but yet he didn't get the distance.
Well, you got to talk about gear selection, motor RPM. You know, 300 RPM on a diesel motor is like a gear change, so he could have used some more RPM or another gear.
Seemed like those front tires were dangling a while.
Yeah, it hooked up pretty good and stuff, so a little higher than I wanted, but that's how it is.
Our next puller is Steve Cavan, driving Pride of the Farm. Now, Steve is what we call a hired gun. He's driving today for Kent and Lisa Moravik.
Well, not only does he do the driving for them, he is a super fine diesel technician. Not only works on the motor of this one, but on a lot of other tractors. Way on down there, you seen that checkered flag go by right there. He is going to be right on top. Right on top, nothing. He missed the lead by 30 hundredths of a foot. He set second place by 30 hundredths. What would you do different, Claude?
Well, knowing all of his experience with the motor and with driving, I don't think there's anything else you can do.
Let's go down to Rick and see what Steve says.
Steve Cavan, that was a nice pull. Were you happy with it?
Could have been a little better. A little squirrely, missed the weight a little bit, but we got close.
On the leaderboard, Alan Andrews in first place, longtime puller, showing all that experience paying off, leading by 0.3 of a foot. Stay with us. We'll wrap up Super Farm when we come back.
The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Series is being brought to you by Precision Turbo, the world's foremost manufacturer of high-performance aftermarket turbochargers. Sapp Brothers, welcome, be our guest. Graham Tire, your tire store next door. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to Thunder in the Valley from Rock Valley, Iowa, as we finish up the Super Farm class. The tractor Red Rock, owned by 3 people. One of them is Dave Roseboom from right here in Rock Valley.
Hometown boy, the hardest show to ever win is your hometown. He's done it before. Can he do it again? The Red Rock is a stable, hard-running Super Farm tractor. Motor pulled down just a little bit. The front tires went down too solid on that track, and that'll cost him a distance as he goes 307 and 73.
Well, it looked like a pretty good run. Not only the other 2 owners, but all of Rock Valley here today rooting for him.
But notice how those front tires just settled down on the track. Just got too close and just went down on the track, not putting all the weight on the rear end.
And that will bring up Marky Roberts, driving Spanky's toy to mark to beat 316.38.
Way on down the track. Marky Roberts, Mark Roberts, Brett Roberts, the whole Roberts family gets into this tractor. Spanky's toy. Little lady doing really good. Motor run out of ponies at 302 and 73. Claude, you can tell this track is starting to get a lot of bite in it.
Sparks underneath as Marky slowly slides out of the clutch.
Actually, a perfect job of sliding the clutch, as you said, coming off the line just right. Just needed 1 or 2 more ponies to go farther down the track.
Start 'em young, somebody said. Well, the minimum age to drive a tractor is 16. Great. Tommy Platty, he's 16.
Yeah, he's going to try to gun down Dad. You seen his dad run earlier. The Turbo Up machine coming out of Hubbard, Iowa. Young man's doing a great job. He had to put his own touch on it. Notice the black wheels up front. 305 and 63. You're going to see this guy's name in the ranks for a long, long time.
And what a great way to begin a career. Spotted it just about in the center, but over to the right just a little bit.
First time down the track in front of a TV. In fact, he even gets an interview with Rick Carlson.
Now, your dad ran earlier. Was he able to give you some tips?
Yeah, my dad and my brother helped me out a lot, and I'm thankful for that.
A good look right there at Mike Dunplow, getting the neck collar on, getting ready to pull. Mike's tractor is burning bucks.
Out of Pilgrim, Nebraska. All that safety equipment, the neck collar, a good part of safety. Even though you're in that roll cage, you never know when you're going to need it. You ain't going to need it on this smooth pass. Good motor RPM, good distance, good run. 308 and 94.
And just how smooth was it? Well, let's go on board and see.
Just barely seen that right hand go forward. Listening to that motor walking and talking. Flagman coming up to you. You know it's a good pass motor still running.
Clayton Schmidt out of Ulysses, Nebraska, Cornhusker Cadillac. I think he thinks a lot about this tractor.
The Cadillac's been around a while. A nice running tractor. A tick high right there. You've seen that he hit those wheelie bars, forced that front end down too quick. Going to cost him some distance, but not really bad. He's going to set in there at a nice distance at 3:09 and 24. But Claude, you talk about coming off the line. When it gets this high, it does cost you a little bit of distance.
So what did he do wrong there? He slid into the clutch. That was okay, but he got too much elevation.
Well, he come out of the line really easy and realized it was taking too long, and then he dumped it too fast.
Coming out of the hole too easy. Well, what can you do? RPM up? How do you change that?
I'll kind of just walk your clutch out. I think I walked it out a little too long. I need to get some more ground speed underneath me before I got going. So.
This is Logan Klein-Hesley getting ready to pull. Earlier today, Rick Carlson caught up with he and his family.
Logan, first time driving tonight?
Yeah, tonight will be the first time. Last year was our first year out, and tonight will be my first time driving the tractor.
Now, Phil, you aren't driving tonight, but you can tell me how you came up with the name just following doctor's orders.
Okay, I came up with that name when our two boys were small. He was 18 months, Logan was 18 months. My wife was an RN, and she went back to school and she ended up getting her DMP. She's a doctor of nurse practitioning. And it took her till, well, about 7 years ago to finish up. And when she said she followed her dream, I could follow mine.
Well, Dave, this is probably the rarest tractor on the grounds today.
The white brand, you don't see them around anymore. Proud to have one on the pulling track. See that water going down on the ground? That is coming out of his water injection holding tank, taking water away from the motor. Hopefully it didn't hurt it too much. He goes 275 and 8. First time to drive the tractor this year. He'll be happy.
Looking at final results, holding off a star mechanic, last year's points champion, and his son, Alan Andrews, the second puller today, gets the win. And Dave, some close competition.
Sure was. Not only was first and second separated by 0.3 of a foot, 6th, 7th, and 8th was separated by 37 hundredths.
And that'll put a wrap on it today from Rock Valley, Iowa. For Dave Bennett and Rick Carlson, Claude Wood, so long.